Manchester derbies in his career. Former City defender Pablo Zabaleta. He spent 9 years at City, making over 300 appearances for the club. He won 5 major trophies, including 2 Premier League titles, and scored the opener of City's famous 3-2 win against QPR on the final day of 2012 to help clinch the club's first ever Premier League title. We've not only moved spots here in the studio, we've classed this place up. We have the Premier League trophy. We have Pablo right next to me. Thanks for making the effort to be here. What brings you to town?
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me today on the show. Well, I'm just with Man City, doing some appearances. It's been a long time that we've not been with the club here in America because of the pandemic and all that. So it's always good to come and represent the club I've been playing for so many years and meet the fans. Especially for the game today, one of the greatest games. You know, I was watching on the clips and I really miss those games. You know, there in Manchester is just always, special. So yeah, as a club ambassador, really, and it's always a pleasure.
It's funny, Pablo, because big game today, of course, in the red and the blue part of Manchester. Now, you were there right at the start of the evolution of this football club, with Sheikh Manchester taking over the club. What was it like to be part of that change where, really, you've gone to City now that are dominating in the Premier League over Manchester United? But what was it like at the start of it? And when did you realise something special was happening?
Yeah, well, that's true. I came to the club in 2008, just a week before they took over. And, yeah, one of the survivors with Vincent Kompany, Joe Harlett, say probably that we've been from the beginning. But obviously when they bought the club and Robinho was the first signing, they paid like 40 million at that time. It was crazy money coming from Real Madrid. And we thought, wow, that's huge. But also I think at the same time, for all the players that we were there, it was a good opportunity to, to prove ourselves that we wanted to be part of the club, and obviously the money was there and they needed to bring good players, good name, but it was not that easy. You also need to create a winning mentality to, to fight with the best teams in England, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, they were really strong teams at that time. So it took like 3-4 years to win the first FA Cup, then the first Premier League. But, I have to say something I'm very proud of because I have seen the whole transformation of the club.
Pablo, you talked about the derby being special. What was your derby experiences like? Because as you're mentioning, prior to your arrival, the expectation was that you were going to lose the game, that it was easy for Manchester United. That changed when you and your teammates got to the club. What was that shift in mentality when it came to the derby?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the first 2 seasons have always been very difficult to win derbies. They were mile ahead of us, and it was difficult. But then at some point, our team was strong enough to fight, against Manchester United and to believe in ourselves that we needed to start winning, derbies, and the 6-1 at Old Trafford was one of those games. Then I remember also when we won an semi-final FA Cup at Wembley. That was probably the turning point where, Ferguson used to call us noisy neighbours, at that time, because obviously our team was strong enough to play against them without fear, and that was probably the moment where everything was more equal between both clubs.
You saw Pep Guardiola come into the football club, and arguably the team has got stronger under Pep. Now, you worked with him for a season there. Tell us what makes him different and what makes him special as a coach.
Well, he's really good. I mean, as you say, I spent only 1 season with Pep. I wish he should have come to the club when I was probably 27, 28, when I was at my prime. I probably would have enjoyed a lot more. But as a manager, he's really good. I mean, on the field tactically, he's a genius. He always want the team to attack. He always set up the team in that way. He likes to play with a lot of number 10s and to keep the ball.
9s.
No, even, sometimes you need like a referee in the box or something like that. But he likes to play, he never gives you time just to keep the ball, to move around, and And it's just simply, you know, amazing. As a player, when you play in that way and you dominate the game, it's like, wow, that's what you expect as a player.
Is it difficult?
You know?
Is it difficult to play?
It took like a year. Yeah, at the beginning it was tough because obviously playing out from the back, you know, we made a few mistakes and it cost, you know, goals sometimes when you make a wrong pass inside of your own box. I know that, but he always been very clear to us, saying like Sean Stone, to some of the young players that say, listen, don't change the way we play, you know, just believe in what we're doing, and you will see how after a year or something like that, everything will come out easily and you will feel like, you know, that's the right way to play, you know. It's how he can convince the player to do that, you know, because sometimes as a defender, when you feel that you are under pressure, the best thing is just go long, go direct, and then we push forward and that's it. But under Pep, it was, I don't want you to play long, always a pass, you know, play short from the back, because I want you guys to bring the ball into the attacking midfielders you know, in a better situation, you know, to Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, those guys to, you know, to find them in those pockets and then, you know, give, you know, freedom to the players up top to, because at the end of the day, or in the final third, you need players who can actually create that moment of magic and score goals, you know, and with Kun Agüero, with Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, all those guys, just looks really simple. But that's, and off the field, I have to say as well, how he inspired the players as well. So he's a genius.
You are, of course, welcome to stay and watch the match, but where do you plan to watch the derby later today? Well,
we're going to Soul 5 in New Jersey. This is the place where we're going to watch the game with some of the fans as well. So we've got a little tournament as well, so it's going to be some fun.
I know you used to be a noisy neighbor. I think we'll just call you an esteemed guest, Pablo Zabaleta. We appreciate you making time to be with us today.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thanks,
nice
Pablo.
to see you.
All right.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend at 7 a.m. Eastern. And for even more content, head over to Peacock, where we've got live games, original series and a dedicated round-the-clock Premier League channel featuring studio shows, classic matches and much more.